Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the twitch.tv/Steven Larson. Tomorrow, it's Triple Mania Day, Triple Mania 30 going down. Should be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing a watch along of it here at the Twitch. And of course, Big Red, the October predictions continue. And big stakes involved tomorrow at Triple Mania.
Exactly. It's Triple Mania. Anything could happen.
Anything can happen. Although a lot of those matches do seem like total.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's one, maybe two matches.
You're gonna have to really pick and choose, like which, because like it'd be tempting to be like, I'll go on a limb like on half these matches, and you could be
8
right
on Ray Phoenix. Yeah, totally.
Right. I mean, that's a positive. According to Lucha Blog, that's a distinct possibility. He sees the brothers, the Lucha brothers, standing tall at the end of the show. I don't know about that, but you know, anything can happen. Anything can happen at Triple Mania. It should be a lot of fun here on the Twitch. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Impact Wrestling, Fallout from Bound for Glory. Like a 20-minute talkie segment to start off Impact. Ooh. So, yeah, it was, you know, man, sometimes you probably just have to step back, take a breath, and be like, all right, let's just, you know, go out there and talk a lot, everybody.
Here's the thing. Like, I feel like Raw almost has to do that because they have 3 hours to fill. So if Raw has a 20-minute talkie bit, all right, whatever. I get it. You got 3 hours to fill.
Yeah, right.
Impact, they got 2 hours. Every second is precious.
Yeah, but at the same time, they also tape like once every quarter. So I understand that, like, you know, you can only cycle through so many matches in a taping.
Imagine if the first thing you're Josh Alexander, you show up for that set of tapings. The first thing they ask you to do is go out there and talk for 20 minutes. I'm like, I'm spent for the next 3 days. That's exhausting.
I don't know. I'm not a wrestler, so I don't know. Like, what would you rather do? This is something we got to ask, like Magnum over at AC. Apparently, he watches the show. You know, what would he rather do? Would you rather go out there and bump a bunch, or would you rather go out there and you're nice? He looks so comfortable in his burglar outfit. You go out there and you talk for 20 minutes and you watch your friends come out and talk as well. You try to remember some lines. I don't know what a wrestler would rather do.
I don't know. I can only speak from personal experience. Granted, I've never been in the wrestling.
I mean, look here. I'll put it this way. I'll put it another way. I've always felt that, much like I've always read that, like I heard somebody say this before. Every game of football in the NFL is essentially like going into like being put through a car accident.
Every play.
Every play. There you go.
Not every game. Yeah. I think it's every play.
Well, like wrestling is not that different. You're going out there, you're putting you're falling, you're bumping, you're doing all sorts of crazy shit. And like, would you rather go through a car accident or would you rather get up there and just make a speech? I think a case could be made.
A lot of it depends on what you probably find more enjoyable. The actual in-ring aspect of it or the talking aspect.
I don't know, man. Car accidents are rough. I can't stand them. Anyways, on this episode, we're also going to be talking about NXT, and we've got some news information as well, including some speculation on Bray Wyatt's new stable and some backstage details on Saraya's WWE departure, how that all went down and how she ended up in AEW.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk about this. This is very interesting.
This is interesting. Yeah, this came across Twitter timeline. Steve mentioned this to me today while we were getting prepped for today's show. I had seen it. But Will Washington of Grapsody and Fightful, quote, retweeted a tweet from Zero News. And we didn't really talk about Zero News on the show. No, we try, like one thing that we try to do here on the show is, and I know it's a different philosophy maybe from others, but we try to stick to the wrestling news outlets that do a decent job at like vetting stuff or have a good track record, which is why we rely so heavily on our good friendos over at Fightful. Yeah. You know, traditionally Meltzer's been pretty decent, especially when it comes to AEW. The people we know he knows. The Young Bucks named a move after him, so he's going to have some info. So that's, again, you know, one thing related to another, why we don't really talk about Zero News here. Exactly. So this is what the Zero News tweet read. Quote, have been told WWE is purposely putting out information that's not true in multiple stories around top storylines. I've heard a lot of stuff unreported, but trying to get any clarification on things is proving very difficult due to different reports between sources. So then Will in his quote retweet said the following, quote, "What's funny is that this is actually true. Fightful got one this week and then didn't publish it because Sean Ross Sapp vets information well." So this is something that I had wondered about for a while. Why instances where we'll get a lot of conflicting information.
Oh yeah.
Normally you would just say, well, people have agendas when they leak news or talk to wrestling sites about stuff.
And in those cases, what we're referring to mainly is somebody's perspective.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I know this is going down here. I'm not a huge fan of it, so I'm going to leak this information out.
Exactly.
And it's colored a certain way, but It doesn't necessarily mean that it's misinformation. That's kind of a completely different thing.
That is a different thing. Yes, and thank you for explaining that so succinctly. But in instances where there's obvious, like diametrically almost opposed bits of information from different sources, it gets you to thinking that yes, maybe it's a far stretch from just different people's perspectives to, okay, there's something going on here, and never had any confirmation, didn't really speak on it, but seeing this come across the timeline today was pretty interesting.
It is very interesting. And dude, honestly, I can't pinpoint one particular thing, but I know there were times during like pandemic when Heyman was sort of in charge, quote unquote, of like Raw's creative or whatever it was, that like I had heard that, or I had read across certain different sort of Twitter chatter, internet wrestling stuff, that Heyman's one guy who traditionally would do quite a bit of that, or he'd at least he'd be more of an agenda guy. He would get his shit out there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is sort of like, well, number one, our DMs are open. If WWE, if you want to start feeding us some of this info, because that'd be hilarious. These clowns over here going in Raw getting some of this shit. Oh man, no, that's the thing. Like it's funny because like there's been times, and it's been a very small handful of times, where like some people, like I've had people reach out to me in my DMs before, and again, a very small handful of times, where they'll say, "Hey, I heard this, that, and the other going on backstage." Yeah. And like I think 2 of the times it turned out to be true, but I'm not a journalist.
Yeah.
I have nobody to vet with. We are a couple of wrestling fans who enjoy talking about wrestling,
and that's the extent of it.
On screen and backstage, and we try to make sure that what we are talking about is well-informed stuff.
Yes.
But the idea, and I don't know, I mean, do you think this is a sort of situation where, because the new regime at WWE understands that the hardcore fans, the internet wrestling community, quote unquote, there'll be so much interest drummed up in this stuff that it's sort of like playing with their expectations, and oh, I heard this, I heard that. And do you think this is more like, hey, we're going to try to like suss out who's leaking stuff? Or do you think this is more like, hey, we want to drum up interest, so we're going to start putting a bunch of stuff out there and get people talking?
I mean, I don't necessarily see why it can't be a little bit of both, potentially. I mean, elsewhere in this thread, after Will's quote retweet, Sean Ross Sapp, it makes it clear that this isn't WWE like in any sort of official capacity spreading.
Sure, yeah.
Reports. I'm sure it's all
back channels
done through the usual back channels and pipelines. Although, Sean doesn't get into any specifics, so speculation on our part. Going back to your question, it could be a situation where, well, leaks are going to happen.
Yeah.
Do what they can about trying to stop leaks. They're going to happen. And maybe, and I'm not saying this is good, bad, right, wrong, whatever. They think, okay, well, to cause confusion about the veracity of leaks, let's put our own leaks out there. To kind of leave a bit of doubt in people's mind about whether such and such is going to happen.
They were really good about keeping the specifics of Bray Wyatt. If Fightful doesn't get a thing, then it's like, wow, they're pretty darn good at it. AEW is pretty good at the MJF stuff as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting that there is some sort of interaction, some conscious sort of interaction between WWE evidently, putting some stuff out there for us to chew on or not. Interesting stuff.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see if there's anything else that comes of this because, yeah, I mean, thankfully, as Will says here, and we've seen, experienced, Sean is excellent at his job.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of Sean and Fightful Select, so Fightful Select has some details on what led Saraya, formerly known as Paige in WWE, to signing with AEW. Fightful reports that Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis chose not to renew Saraya's contract with WWE. Sources told Fightful that Triple H was, quote, shocked that her deal wasn't renewed by Vince, and added that the game did make efforts to re-sign Saraya once he assumed control of WWE Creative, and even offered her a GM role. Fightful also reports that while Vince was still running things, WWE wouldn't sign off on X-rays to have her examined and seemingly made no effort to get Saraya cleared for an in-ring return. And it was Saraya herself that, quote, went through 3 extensive health checks to gain clearance for an in-ring return. Let's pause there before we talk about her comments on a recent episode of Talk is Jericho. It is shocking that they wouldn't want to bring Paige on screen for a role because she's a draw. Like, people will pay attention when she's on screen. And yeah, if I was Triple H, I'd be shocked too that didn't happen. Also very interesting and something that I was very happy to hear. The 3 extensive health checks to gain clearance for an in-ring return. That puts my mind, man, I don't want to see it. Mr. Dope sent me a tweet today from like some
that powerbomb one.
Yeah, there was like an indie show, and it was like some dude just getting power bombed to shit.
Yeah.
And it was like a small indie show.
Yeah, but you can see like someone possibly getting 3 successive concussions right there. Yes.
Right. And it's like, dude, I get it. Maybe you're trying to do that for some exposure. I'm not going to tell any wrestler what not to do. But I jokingly texted back and was like, hey, man, ACW, keep it safe, keep it boring. I'm joking. It's going to be exciting in ACW. It's going to be very exciting.
Exactly.
But I don't want to see anybody.
Rust holes we've ever seen.
I don't want to see anybody get hurt. And so I don't care if it's on the smallest level or if it's up here in AEW, WWE. So when Saraya shows up to wrestle, I'll feel a little bit better as an old man, pearl clutching, that she had a lot of people checking that neck of hers to make sure that it's going to be all right.
Agreed. So she appeared on, I think, the most recent episode of Talk is Jericho, and provided some more details about why she left WWE, and then ended up signing with AEW. His first batch quotes, transcripts come to you from WrestlingNews.co. It's what she had to say. Quote, I remember contacting them, Mark Carano, just everybody, even WWE Studios. I contacted them, was like, if you want me to do media, I can do that. If you want me to do this, I can do that. If you want me to do managerial work, I think Rhonda needed a mouthpiece at the time. I was pitching to work on doing that. I was constantly pitching all these different ideas and just being a manager in general because, I was doing managerial stuff for a bunch of women. I was like, I can do these things. I'm available. Just let me know. But I end up sitting in my house for like 3 or 4 years. That's the most depressing thing because you feel like you're completely useless. And you can't go and do anything else because you're under contract where even though you're an independent contractor, you still have to get permission to do stuff. And then it would get turned down. Used to really just get to me a lot. I never used to be vocal about it until they tried to take my Twitch away. I was like, there's absolutely no way you're going to take my Twitch away from me. I remember Vince's assistant calling me one time. He only did one phone call. He was like, well, you need to give us a percentage of this. If I spoke to Vince, he would have been way more chill about it, I believe, but the assistant had a effing stick up his ass. And she continues talking about a conversation with Tony Khan, kind of about similar stuff. And she says, quote, Tony said, we don't take anything from you. You can do anything you want. I won't ask for percentage in anything. You get to keep 100% of it. He was like, as long as you turn up for work, I'm happy. He was like, even if you didn't want to go to work, you just have to let me know. He was just so relaxed. It's just a whole different dynamic, and it's something you have to get used to. I always say it's like an animal that got rescued. You're so used to a strict parent or something like that, and then you get given to like a millennial couple. And I'm going to give you all of these bells and whistles, and you can do whatever you want. I feel like I got that. And then you get given to like a millennial. I don't know what that means. Millennial couple.
It's like you're used to somebody who's got you under thumb, and then you're given to like some people who.
I get in the broader sense, just the millennial couple. I'm not familiar with that phrase.
Oh, I'm assuming she means that, like, boomers versus millennials or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. But
who fucking knows? In any event, I take her meaning. She was treated poorly and then she was treated nicely. So that's always good to hear.
Yes, in the grand sense, yes, I understand.
I know it was just always nuts during that, especially the last like 5 years or so of Vince's era, when it was like, oh, you can't do shit. No, we're going to take everything you do. And it's like, God, it's so
cut of the Twitch. It's ridiculous.
It just feels like it'd be such a, like she says here, you feel useless. And I'm like, dude, you're Paige. Like, it's Paige. Why are you keeping her? Like, you saw how her Twitch blew up. It's because there's a big audience for her. It's absolutely nuts. So elsewhere in the interview, Saraya also confirmed that Triple H did make an effort to re-sign her. And these transcripts come to you via Fightful. She said, Hunter did reach out to me and he wanted to talk to me. He thought it was my decision to leave because he wasn't there at the time. He thought it was my decision to leave. No, bro. It was Vince and Johnny. We got to talk him, and then I sat and talked to you guys, and I was like, man, I miss that side of wrestling where you can pitch your own ideas and you can just have fun. I haven't felt excited about wrestling in a very long time, so the first day of being here, AEW, it was awesome. Everyone's so nice. It's crazy just how different it can feel. I was thinking about it. Again, I don't have issues with WWE. I just wish that some things were done differently. It's the only thing I have against them. There are so many years where I could have been utilized more. My friends were around me. I was so depressed about it. I was just thinking about going back there. And then I spoke to you, Jericho. I spoke to Mox. I was speaking to Britt Baker. I got on the phone with Tony, and he was so excited. I was like, I think I'm going to give this a shot. So yeah, hopefully it all works out for her. And
yep.
Maybe, like we were talking about the other day, how Vince McMahon watched whatever the match was, Charlotte versus Natalya or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Tony Khan will watch a Saraya match and be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should focus a bit more on the women. Let's talk about this. Bray Wyatt's new stable and who's going to be in it and what's it going to look like. So Bray's making his SmackDown re-debut tonight. And there's been some speculation about whether Bray's Twitter handle, Wyatt6, refers to a new stable, or some have pointed, this latest version of Bray being the 6th iteration of the character. So Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer offered his 2 cents in the latest newsletter. He said this: Wyatt6 apparently refers to a group that he will lead that includes renditions of his different Firefly Funhouse characters. There is all kinds of speculation regarding the identities of the Wyatt6 group. There is also said to be a long-term plan for the group up to WrestleMania. There have been teased hints of Joe Gacy as Huskus, Grayson Waller as Mercy the Buzzard, and Alexa Bliss as Sister Abigail between social media for the first two, and a teased photo of Abigail with both the Raw and SmackDown women's belts, which Bliss has held. The Mercy character also greatly resembled Waller, with a shirt that he had worn on television and the same height and build. Plus, for weeks, the announcers have done teases about Bliss not being where she used to be. There was also a Liv Morgan tease for that spot. Ramblin' Rabbit has had the obvious rumors of Eric Rowan, although those are just rumors at this point because Rowan is formerly with the group. The Fiend rumors are for Bo Dallas. It should become obvious within a week. Others internally have said some of those are believed to be accurate, but said things are up in the air, mentioning others could be a part of it, mentioning the dyad in particular are possible, and other names listed are not sure things. While obviously this won't happen, there was talk of Aleister Black for this group. Okay, so number one, there's a lot of speculation going on here.
Yes.
And it seems to be like, what's the button? Like, I don't. This is Dave Meltzer watching WWE programming and kind of just getting things wrong, and watching social media and sort of getting things wrong. I don't think for a second that Joe Gacy is going to dress up like Huskus
and wrestle and
actually wrestle. Yeah. Now, I think what we saw at Extreme Rules. Let's sort of break this down.
Yeah.
Waller and Joe Gacy have both insinuated on social media that they were under those costumes. I believe that to be true because I think that they were just bringing people in. Hey, put on this costume. Mercy the Buzzard. His sort of stature is kind of lanky. Waller fits for that.
Yes.
Gacy kind of has a Huskus frame, put him in the Huskus costume. I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying that's just sort of, he's a rounder guy, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
But and so let's stop at that. I don't think they're going to bring in Grayson Waller to be Mercy the Buzzard. I don't even think they're going to bring in Grayson Waller to change his character completely from basically Australian Miz to be under Bray Wyatt's faction. I could be wrong. And if I am, I'll be like, okay, I'm an idiot. But I don't see anything that would indicate that otherwise.
Yeah.
I'd
sorry, go ahead.
I'll just make this last one here about Gacy. I think Gacy's character in NXT, as much as I complain about him, I think under Wyatt, he could do some interesting stuff, but not as Huskus. That doesn't make any fucking sense. My take on Extreme Rules was, this is me getting rid of the demons of the past, the Firefly Funhouse, and now we're moving forward. Yes. That was my take on it. I could be wrong. Sorry, what were you going to say?
That was my interpretation as well, because we see, the people in costumes of the respective Firefly Funhouse characters, and then we go to the Firefly Funhouse, and it looks like it has been empty for several decades, if you will. It's fallen apart. There's cobwebs everywhere. In my mind, that seems to indicate, all right, this is closed. This is done. We go to the TV. There's a new iteration of Bray there with a different mask.
Yeah.
And it seemed to be that segment was, we're going to introduce this new version of Bray using characters people are familiar with. And by doing so, kind of saying goodbye to them.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate, again, could be wrong. Don't anticipate anybody wrestling in a Huskus costume. I don't imagine anybody wrestling in a Mercy the Buzzard costume.
Yeah.
That's not to say that they might not use that as a jumping off point. But that doesn't mean whoever is donning those costumes that night at Extreme Rules are going to be playing those roles or filling those spots in a faction if Bray even gets another one. That's an if still.
I would not take Wyatt 6 as being like literally, he's going to have a faction. Now, there are some things out there that make me think he might have a faction. And I personally think he's going to. But I don't think it's going to be the Firefly Funhouse. And this is where Stephen Larson get his speculation. And then maybe another podcast and be like, listen to these idiots. These transcripts come to you from whatever.
Yeah.
But there were some obvious references to Cross in the stuff, in the buildup. Wouldn't shock me to see him as part of Wyatt's thing. I could be wrong about that. Alexa Bliss has probably been the most overtly with like the teases that she's going to be a part of something with Bray. I thought that her presentation at Mania 2021 with Orton was awesome, and I'd love to see them revisit that, see where they were going to go with that. I could totally see that being the case. Like I said, Gacy for me, I think would be interesting, but I don't think there's any like evidence to support that would be part of it. We've heard also that Bo Dallas is going to be part of it, and
coming
so
back, yeah.
I could see that as being a possibility. But like, I don't know. Like, I just don't. I mean, Aleister Black has sworn up and down that he was never leaving AEW, and
yeah,
you can take him at his word or not. I don't know,
and I don't know how seriously there even be discussions for Aleister being a part of this group if he was still signed to a contract in another company.
I don't know how deep, it could. I mean, it's one thing for them to say, hey, are you interested in coming back through back channels? It's another thing for them to be like, hey, why don't you be part of Bray's because he's going to come back. I just don't know if it would have gotten that deep. Maybe. I don't know.
No, I'd be pretty surprised if it did. But
yeah, this speculation, I don't know, man. I'd sort of, I would be like, okay, I'll believe that when I see it. But it just seems like a bad read on stuff that's been presented to us on TV and internet.
Yeah, and it seems like there's little bits that he's picked up on and is trying to make a cohesive picture out of that.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a cohesive picture to be made out of it yet. And that's kind of the whole idea of teasing thing in this way is that you don't really get the full picture till it's before you, and then you can look back and say, oh, they teased this here and that here and that here. But I don't based on what happened in Extreme Rules, I don't put a whole lot of stock in that being a future direction for Bray beyond the TV stuff, because we've seen that again. We've seen the scrambled TV thing and him dropping a promo with the new mascot. And I think that's going to continue, obviously.
Yeah.
I think we have said goodbye to the Funhouse, and we're probably going to say goodbye to those characters.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break here to get a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Hey, Larson.
Yes, Steve?
I'm sure you're aware that lately we've been seeing more professional athletes speak out about the importance of mental health. And there's been several top stars that stepped away from their sports to tend to their own mental well-being. But pro athletes, they're not the only ones who need to take care of their mental health. And therapy really is the best way for anybody to stay in peak mental shape.
That's true, Steve, and I've been there before myself. About 20 years ago, I was dealing with severe anxiety, and realizing that I wasn't in peak mental shape, I went in search of a therapist. But back then, finding the right therapist was a difficult process, and it took me quite a while to find someone I was comfortable talking to. But once I did, I started gaining the tools I needed to better cope with my anxiety. Today, BetterHelp is a great option if you're considering therapy because it makes the process of finding a therapist much more convenient and accessible. The whole process is done online, so you don't have to leave your house. And all you got to do to get connected with the therapist is fill out a quick survey. Plus, you can switch therapists at any time.
So when you're ready to feel at the top of your mental health game, therapy can get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, RexMD. Guys, listen, I get it. You don't like going to the doctor, and I get that it can be difficult to talk to the doctor about certain issues, especially when it involves down where, Steve?
Down there in the crotch chop area. You guys know what we're talking about.
But here's something to remember. Most men's health issues have a simple solution, and RexMD is all about simple solutions.
Yeah, man. RexMD makes getting generic and branded Viagra or Cialis easy. Everything's online, even the prescription, and they deliver to your door. No office visits, no talking to a receptionist. Super simple.
It is super simple. All you got to do is fill out a quick medical questionnaire online. A doctor will review your situation and prescribe you generic Viagra if appropriate. Then your medication gets shipped directly to your door with free 2-day shipping.
Thanks to RexMD, over 300,000 guys have gotten generic Viagra quickly and conveniently. RexMD is fast, simple, and cheap, and you can access your U.S. licensed RexMD physician anytime you need afterwards.
RexMD just works, and it works the very first night. So guys, are you ready?
Wow.
Starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are now available for our viewers, but you've got to go to RexMD.com/raw to get started. That's RexMD, RexMD.com/raw.
Yeah, one of the people they just hired for, I think, like director of long-term creative,
Rob Fee, yeah.
Obviously, like we had heard that he had pitched a Fiend movie to Vince a little while ago, and then they brought him in, so obviously he's close to Bray. I could be completely wrong, but granted he pitched a Fiend movie. I just don't know if Bray's the kind of guy, hey, you want to do some more Firefly Funhouse? No, that was a thing that you did.
Yeah.
Move forward. I mean, I don't know, man. Like he seems like a creative guy, and I don't know how much you want to go back and revisit something unless it's through the lens like we've talked about with Bray. Something he does seem interested in is looking at the past, looking at history, at what could have been, and not necessarily trying to relive it, but analyze it and pick it apart and deconstruct it. And if he's going to do that through this new lens, but yeah, clearly the Firefly Funhouse was a mess, and maybe some of the stuff that he talked about in that last teaser, I thought that what I saw in my head was real. And I think he was maybe referring to the Firefly Funhouse. Well, now he's moved on from that to something else. So, I mean, look, am I curious to see Grayson Waller dress up like Mercy the Buzzard and run ropes? Sure. If you want something that looks really stupid, you want people to turn off the TV, I'd be down to watch that. That sounds horrible. That sounds horrible. Mercy the Buzzard running ropes. Mahuskas out there running around like an idiot.
I know.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And then the other thing was the reports that Vincent and Dutch, formerly of Ring of Honor, were backstage. And then WWE copyrighted two names, Uncle Howdy and Uncle Harper.
Yeah.
which Harper could be a reference to Brody Lee's character, Luke Harper. And that's something that Bray, there were reports also like the veil that the Abigail stand-in was wearing was something that Harper had worn in his Bludgeon Brothers.
The mask.
The mask,
the
okay.
Mask, yeah.
And then I know some people had pointed to the backlit door thing being his Exalted One, a reference to the Exalted One. I don't know about that necessarily, but yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they did bring in Vincent. Looks like he's made for this faction. He really does.
I know.
So I could see him putting together something new with new faces and a new direction and a new thing. But I don't know, man. I think the whole point of that Firefly, the Extreme Rules thing was this is in the past now. We're say goodbye to this.
Yep. That was my take as well.
But time will prove out who's right here,
Yep. Let's talk NXT. We had an NXT episode on Tuesday as we normally do. Next week I'd have NXT and Dynamite. Tuesday Night Wars for 1 week only.
Well, okay. Yeah, that's yeah.
NXT, their ratings were up there over 700,000 this week.
It's like 730, 740, something like that.
737, I think.
That's awesome. That's good for them. But for my purposes, I watch AEW on Tuesday and then NXT on Friday morning.
Friday morning.
Same as I always
speed
do.
run Friday morning. I'll say this. I appreciated this episode because I felt like they did a much better job of combining character-based storytelling and framing it around in-ring wrestling as opposed to a bunch of endless talky bits that I don't care about. But there were some good matches, like Axiom and Nathan Frazier was awesome.
Oh, that was terrific. Yeah,
that was an awesome bout. I thought Alba Fire and JC Jane was really good. Main event I thought was pretty damn solid. And I love the Creed brothers visiting Roderick Strong in the hospital.
I really wish they would have inserted just like a little bit of like Roderick being a dick into that, because he's so good as whiny Roderick Strong. They had that really earnest music behind it, and if he had like said something like, "Oh, these dork doctors won't clear me," something like that, I would have popped big time. But they played it up so earnestly. I'm like, this seems like comedy, but I don't think they're aiming for comedy here.
Oh, it was great though. It was great.
It was great because Roderick Strong can't help but be funny.
I know. But all building towards Halloween Havoc. And granted, I don't know if I'm any more excited about Halloween Havoc than I was the week prior.
Well, I'm excited at I don't think it's going to happen. I'm excited at the prospect of Ilya maybe becoming NXT champion. I think that would be. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it'd be a great, because Braun does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing for me. He's just there. He's just there. And Ilya is a fantastic wrestler. And I think if you want to get NXT back on a good run, back on a solid way, dude, could you imagine if we walked out of Halloween Havoc with Ilya as champion and Nathan Frazier as North American champion? What a statement would that be? Because I think Carmelo's going to go to main soon. What kind of statement would that be in terms of, hey, this is where we're going to take NXT. The good wrestling is back. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or we could have Bronbreaker as champion and Von Wagner as North American champion, in which case it'd be a completely different statement.
Yes, it would be. I mean, after the match on Tuesday against Axiom, Nathan Frazier got the win there. I mean, if you make the assumption that Carmelo's going to main, you kind of have to think Frazier is the favorite to win that. Yeah, it's
got to be either Frazier or Von Wagner. And like I said, it's going to be
a how's the word I'm looking for?
A litmus test. It's going to be a bellwether. Yeah,
a litmus test of the direction of NXT, I guess.
Yeah, and I hope, man, because even in the women's title, well, I don't even think that's going to happen. Well,
referendum. That was the word I was looking for.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, will Braun Breaker have his mandate or not? But even the idea of Alba Fire being women's champion, again, one of the best wrestlers they got on the roster with Alba Fire. Not saying taking anything away from Manny. Manny needs to go to main roster. Sony needs to be like, hey, come on, I'm gonna put you in my car. We're gonna go to SmackDown.
Yes,
exactly. Just like instead of Alba Fire stealing you all the time. Apparently, Mandy Rose's brother passed, which is why she hasn't been around. But so who knows if that match is even going to happen at Halloween Havoc. I suspect it will, but next week they're going to do a Sonya Deville, who showed up this week. Alba Fire face off, so maybe maybe they'll find a way to replace Mandy Rose with Sonya Deville at Halloween Havoc instead. But it was great to see Sonya Deville. There's a lot of history with Mandy Rose. She mentioned that, of course.
They addressed it, yeah.
So that was really cool. Like, I always like when they do that kind of stuff.
Agreed.
So we can just dive into it.
Sure.
It started off with Bronbreaker versus Javier Barnal. And as Barnal is walking to the ring, JD McDonough comes and joins commentary now, of course, with Booker T, who is awesome as always. I love everything. Every time he opens his mouth, man. Black Snow is the man. He's great.
Great.
So anyways, Braun wins this with a press power slam.
Yeah.
JD gets in the ring to have a stare down with Braun. Then Ilya comes to the ring. JD hits Ilya with a headbutt. Braun and JD brawl, and then Ilya looks to torpedo JD, but JD moves and Braun eats that torpedo. JD leaves the ring happy with what he's caused here. Yeah. And then Ilya's like, oh, there's the belt. He picks it up.
I'll pick this up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't go home, so I guess he still has a chance to win it. After that, we had Alba Fire promo. She says she took Mandy on a little joyride and it was over. I got myself a title match at Halloween Havoc. After that, Axiom versus Nathan Frazier. The rubber match from their best 2 out of 3.
Go out of your way to see this match, man. My goodness.
It was fun.
Some of that shit, I was like, I hope they replay this, or I rewound it, because I was like, man, like, there was that shit in the corner. I don't even know what happened. It was just, there was a lot of stuff in this match where I was like, that was cool. What was that?
It's really good.
Yeah.
It was really good. The finish saw the Axiom and Nathan trade super kicks. So Axiom hits a knee looking for his finish. Frazier escapes that and then rolls up Axiom to get the win.
Yep. After that.
Stellar bout.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Go out of your way to watch it. It's amazing. After that, we had Ilya in the parking lot. He gets an interview. He says, the squared circle is a battlefield. There are no rules in love and war. I'm like, oh, tell me more. Tell me more.
Yes.
And then he's interrupted by Grayson, Walla. And he's got some big goofy sunglasses on because of the Apollo bleeding eyes thing. And he says, hey, you're looking for an edge for your match at Havoc, but I don't need one against Apollo Crews. And then Ilya's like, why are you wearing your grandmother's sunglasses? And Waller says, oh, you're not my grandmother's son. What he referenced, he actually gave his grandmother a name, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
He says, oh, because Apollo Crews tried to blind me last week. I'm still sensitive to the light. Why are you changing the subject? He says, you're moving pretty quickly for somebody who did something by accident. And he says, oh, I think I'll stay here. That's a great idea. He says, and Waller was like,
says,
I didn't mean it like that. Because Ilya's like, hey, we're going to have a match tonight.
Yeah. Then we get Chael Sonya and Valentina Feroz backstage. So Valentina asks Sonya, will you be in my corner tonight for my match against Indy Hartwell? He says yes, so Indy steps in. And she says, well, Songa's going to be in your corner tonight. She says, that may be your jungle, but tonight it's my ring. I'll see you out there.
Indy's still waiting for that fucking call-up, man. They got to get that done soon.
Yep.
After that, we had, and no Veer tonight.
No, there's Veer.
Oh, wait, was he?
Yeah.
Where was Veer?
During the Indy Feroz.
Oh, I was fast forwarding that shit. We had
see, you missed those little details.
Small price to pay. Apollo Crews video package. He's out by his night. There's he's standing next to a light. He's writing his little journal. He has really good handwriting.
Gosh, my handwriting is abysmal these days.
Oh,
I don't hardly write anymore.
Mine is garbage.
I don't write anymore. If I write more 2 sentences, my hand gets all cramped up.
Mine is trash.
And
it cramps up.
It's the worst. It's
Dude,
awful.
the worst is when you're buying a house to refi. Because there's so many signatures and so many things you have to write.
Stack of paper like that, yeah.
Oh, so you're like,
I know.
It's horrible. Anyways, he's writing with precision because he's Apollo Crews. There's a lot going on here. He says, my eye's not bloody, or your notes indicate.
His eyes aren't bloody.
Yeah. Your notes indicate, his eyes are fine.
Yeah.
He says,
I kind of like the time he showed up with his eye just leaking blood. I'll be honest. I thought that was a striking visual.
Well, it might not be the last time. It might happen again. He says, at Halloween Havoc, he says, let's see what happens. And then he's got a vision. There's like a lot of fucking Chucky, the doll, in it.
Yeah, another crossover with the Chucky show on USA.
It goes back to Apollo, and he just looks confused by what he just saw. He's like, what, trailer for Chucky? Why is that my vision now?
I know.
He says, I'm going to force my perspective on Waller on the way to my ultimate goal, evidently a guest starring role on Chucky. I don't know what the
so.
I thought he meant a title shot, but seeing the Chucky stuff. He says, at Halloween Havoc, I'm leaving Waller in the dark.
Yeah. Next, we had Indy Hartwell versus Valentina Feroz. So early in the match, Veer walks to the ramp. So Songa goes and beats him. And then Veer whispers something in Songa's ear, and then they walk backstage together.
The prime rib is ready.
Maybe.
What do you think it might have been?
I saved you an end piece.
Thank you.
It's a little more well done, but it's got the extra seasoning.
It's got all that seasoning. It's too much seasoning, man. It's too much seasoning.
No, it's not. It's perfect amount. So then Indy wins with a superplex on Feroz. Suplexes her from the apron back in the ring, and then Pretty Deadly shows up on the little perch thing they got there. And congratulate Indy on her win. Call themselves fantastic. They said they're going to sit back and relax and watch the three other teams beat the crap out of each other for the honor of losing to them because there's number one contenders bout later. Oh, like next.
White Brownie says, I clogged the toilet. Time to go.
There you go.
He's like, hey, let's put this on our IG story. No, we can't do that.
You can't do that. I made that mistake last time.
We did that last time. Then we had a Cora Jade interview. She says, I've contacted some people to be Roxanne's opponent because they're doing the pick your poison thing. Mm-hmm. She says, I've got a lot of people I want to pick. Must be hard for Roxanne because no one ever liked her. And then Mackenzie says, well, actually, Perez says she's going to Smackdown on Friday. And Cora's like, oh, what? Oh, I got some phone calls to make. She asked Mackenzie if she has Ronda Rousey's number. And then Mackenzie's like, no. And then Cora leaves. And Mackenzie says, actually, I do.
Mm-hmm. Then we had the number one contenders match for the tag titles. He had Malik Blade and Idris Enofe taking on Briggs and Jensen, taking on the Dyad.
Sin.
It's great to see Blade and Enofe get the win here.
Oh, yeah, it's terrific.
That's awesome.
All sorts of interference here from, what's his face?
Gacy and Grimes, yeah. Yeah, so Enofe ends up rolling up Drake to get the win after he escapes a ticket to ride from the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Soon to be part of Wyatt 6. We're going to steal Bray Wyatt's wallet.
Man, if this is still all long con from the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Dude, yeah, he showed they like,
come to the ring and they got like 25 wallets on them.
They got a bunch of passports with them. We're going to pawn these passports off. I know some people. Oh, in the Liverpool Underground. After that, we had a Gigi and JC interview. JC says we should be number one contenders for the tag titles, but Alba jumped us in the parking lot. But she said, but tonight she gets it back, but worse. And then Gigi says, yeah, JC's going to take care of Alba Fire because when you mess with our gold, we'll walk through fire to get our revenge. And JC says, if Alba wants to surprise him again, maybe we have a surprise for her in return. Some foreshadowing.
Indeed. Then we had a Kiana James video. She's looking at blueprints for Chase Hughes, talking about how the land underneath of it's super valuable.
And then her assistant, who is a smaller version of Kiana James, tells her there's like a phone call or some shit. And she's like, oh, I've got a match against Thea Hale tonight.
Yeah. So is she trying to find a way to buy the land from underneath Chase U?
I do appreciate that she's named her finisher the 401k. I like that. But yeah. I guess
it kind of depends on what aspect of the financial world she's in. Because if she doesn't deal with retirements, then it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Well, I'm assuming that she's part of the corporate world in which a lot of corporations will offer good deals on 401ks, matching, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Could be. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, I feel you. If she's not in retirements. She looks like she's in property acquisition.
That's what I was thinking, too.
Some big real estate development, perhaps.
Yeah.
In which case, what would a good name for her finisher be?
I mean, if she's real estate, I guess you can call it foreclosure.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah. The closing fee? I don't know.
Oh, wow. Closing costs. There you go.
Closing costs. Escrow. After that, we had Alba Fire versus JC Jane. Alba looks for a gory bomb. Gigi gets on the apron. Alba punches her off. JC rolls up Alba, but only gets 2 with that. And in the end, JC gets hit with that gory bomb for the win for Alba Fire. And then somebody grabs Alba up on the ramp, rams her into the guardrail. Whoop-a! It's Sonya Deville. Sonya throws Alba into the barricade. GC and JC join the beatdown. They put Alba through the announce table with triple team powerbomb. What are you laughing at?
Oh, wow. True World Order suggests naming her finish Mortgage Anthem.
Where? Yeah, well, it's missing. Where's the mortgage anthem? It's not on Spotify, or somebody contact CBC, please.
Yep.
I guess I could.
Then we got Schism. They're leaving the PC and knock over a camera person, and Gacy picks up the camera and does a promo like Dean Ambrose used to do in the Shield.
Yeah.
Tells Grimes that he's going to eliminate him, and that Grimes will face the full force of the Schism. And Grimes, you have nobody to turn to.
What if that's Bray's in-ring return? As Grimes gets Bray as a partner.
Oh, wow.
How underwhelming would that shit be?
Wow.
That'd be horrible. Well, here's my partner, Bray Wyatt.
To the moon. And then we got a Nikita Lyons, Zoe Stark video package. And then backstage.
No chemistry whatsoever.
None.
Zero.
So backstage, you got security, you got Hank Walker, and Quincy Elliott. They're talking about Zoe and Nikita getting their title shot, like they're watching that video package on their TV, on the TV back there.
All those security guys, they all look like various iterations of My Career characters.
Yeah, I know.
They're like just enough effort to get this thing started. It vaguely looks like the person playing. You guys are all playing my rights. So
then Hank tells Quincy, I got your back next week against Zion.
And then he slaps him on his butt cheeks, and Quincy's like, ooh, Hanky. After that, we had Wesley versus Stax. Lee wins after a corkscrew splash. Somebody in chat here said that Wesley is the odds-on favorite to win the North American title. But I don't know, man. Nathan Frazier, I feel like he's the guy. Or Von Wagner. Anyways, so Trick Williams attacks Lee afterwards. Lee fends him off. Mello joins in. Oro Mensah comes to the ring to make the save. He looks to hit Mello with his finish, but Trick pulls him out of the ring. Wes hits Trick and Mello with a tope.
Yep. Then we get Toxic Attraction and Sonya Deville interview. Sonya says Mandy and her may have had their differences, but Mandy's still her best friend, and if Gigi and JC are Mandy's girls, and then they're my girls too, does that make sense? She says Alba must have burnt a few brain cells because you can't abduct the greatest women's champ in NXT history and expect to get away with it, and that's why I'm here. And she says, now, Mackenzie, you go wait outside medical and tell Alba that I'll be waiting for her in the ring next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, confrontation next week. After that, we had the Creed brothers visiting Roderick Strong in the hospital. Like we said, this sort of came off as like a scene from a soap opera. Some very earnest music. Roderick Strong has a neck brace on. He's wheeled in by Ivy Nile. He's like, yeah, guys, I'm just taking it one day at a time. Brutus says Kemp is going to pay for what he did, and Julius is going to put him in the hospital. He says, I hope there's enough room in here. And then Julius says, I hope there's a bed. Yeah, that's what he says. I hope there's a bed for Kemp here. Roderick tells the Creeds, like, you guys, I'm sorry. I'm the one who brought Damon in. He's a big dork. He says, I'm the one who asked the Creeds to trust me, and I might be the reason Diamond Mine is over. And then Julius says, no, man, that's not going to happen. And then Roddy says, a few weeks ago, I would have been fighting right by your side, but now I can't. But you guys can at Halloween Havoc. I just need you to do one thing, Julius. Win, because it's Diamond Mine forever. And they all put their hands in.
Yeah.
This is
so
Roderick
going to come and cost Julius this match?
God, I hope so. I hope so. I don't think so, though.
Yeah, they call him dork.
And then, hey, dork.
Hey, dork. Then we got Kiana James versus Thea Hale. Basically, right as this match was starting, Robert Stone slides in the ring and says, right now I should be celebrating Vaughn going to Halloween Havoc, but instead the world is laughing at me because I got slammed by Thea Hale.
Yeah.
He says, you had the audacity to body slam me. Did you think it was a good idea to put your hands on Mr. Stone, but now I'm going to ruin your night? And then he gets Thea backdrops him, kicks him out of the ring. Kiana takes advantage of that distraction, hits the 401k.
401k, baby.
At float over flatliner to get the win.
Mm-hmm. The Blueprint would be a cool name.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I don't know. Taxpayer funded. That's what it should be called.
Interesting.
Yeah, because when they do an arena, it's usually it's taxpayers. All the developers can come in, swoop in.
Exactly. That's true.
Take advantage. Anyways, after that we had Stax in the locker room. Tony D walks in on crutches. Tony says, I'm doing better than you after that loss to Wes Lee. He said, weeks ago I told you to get off the apron, and what happened? I blew my PCL into a million pieces. Stax says, I'm sorry for that, boss. Tony says, actions have consequences because you got another match next week. Stack says, who is it? He says, I love you, but you'll know when the music hits. Bada boom.
Yep. They were backstage, and Vaughn confronts Mr. Stone, and it's like, what the hell are you doing? You need to calm down.
Hey.
Oh, sorry, you do this, Steve.
Hey, what are you doing out there? You need to calm down. Get serious. I need you to be locked in and make sure I get that North American title. It's bullshit. And Stone apologizes. Says, sometimes old habits die hard. It's time for you to be champ. I'm dumpster champ.
I already am dumpster champ.
I already am champ. I'm dumpster champ.
Then we got a Cameron Grimes interview. He's like happy again. He says, felt good cost Dyad the title shot, but Gacy is right. There's no one NXT I trust. But that does include all of WWE. And then he leaves. Cora steps in. She says, Rhea got back to me. Wants me to come to Raw.
Yeah. And then we had our main event, Ilya Dragunov versus Grayson Walla. This needed some amount of distraction here for Waller to get off his game, because at one point he ends up Ilya Waller yanks Ilya over the top rope, and he's down there on the bottom, and he's looking for his finish. So he loads up on the ramp because he has to go all the way up the ramp to get his finish in.
Yeah.
And then like the lights go wonky, and the freaking spin the wheel, make the deal wheel starts spinning to make a deal. But it doesn't land on anything, I don't think.
No, it just spins on its own. I think that's the idea, is that it spun.
Yeah, but I was like, are they going to do a blindfold match at fucking? Because all this stuff about I'm like, that would be awful. Could you? Well, they just do a thing where the blindfolds are gimmick, Tom.
Well, you remember when Jake Roberts and Rick Martel did it? They actually found a pretty creative way to make it work, where the fans would cheer as Jake Roberts would get closer to Rick Martel.
Those things are totally gimmick, though, right?
Oh, I don't know, but I like that they actually put some logic behind it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyways, so Ilya wins, gets that torpedo. Then Braun hits the ring and just spears the living shit out of Ilya.
Yeah, that was a hell of a spear.
Oh,
good sell by Ilya there.
Destroyed him. We also had some Impact Wrestling. Now, this was, as we mentioned at the top of the show.
You're a fan of Impact promos, and this was a show for you.
Not the strongest episode of Impact Wrestling. So this opening bit, it was a half hour before there was a match.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, the first match was really good. It was Killer Kelly versus Tasha Steelz.
Mm-hmm.
But kicked off with a 20-minute promo, which was I will just lay it out like this. Josh Alexander calls out Bully Ray. Wants to know why Bully Ray didn't take advantage of Josh Alexander when he was, after his match, and he could have called the shot in the moment. Bully Ray says, everybody thinks I'm an asshole. I want to show that I'm not. Macklin comes out, says, Bully, you are an asshole. Moose comes out.
Scumbag. That was the word of the night. Scumbag.
You are a scumbag. Moose comes out, says, I like scumbags. I'm a scumbag. I modeled my scumbag career after you, Bully Ray, also a scumbag. So you should be scumbag. And then Bobby Fish comes out. After 20 minutes, or it's like 18 minutes, Bobby Fish comes out. Not the most electric promo in the world.
No.
So I completely just he just set up a match for Josh Alexander in the main event.
Yeah, for the night, and confirmed that in his estimation, Bully is scumbag. Yeah,
that's the theme right now. Is that everybody thinks Bully's a piece of shit,
except Tommy Dreamer. But even Tommy's questioning that a little bit.
Well, Tommy says when gold is in front of you, you're a piece of shit. But when when you don't have nothing to gain from it, you're a good guy.
Yeah,
and he was wearing his jacket inside out.
He was. Even before we got another match, we got a Motor City Machine Guns interview.
Yeah, another interview.
Another interview.
Yeah,
they were complaining about not being tag champs because Honor No More cheated. But they were like, that's the past. We can't affect the future. We just asked for their tag title shots. So they go to Scott D'Amore's office. And as they get there, Heath and Rhino leave. And they're like, what are you doing here? And they're like, we made a promise we were going to be tag champs. And so we got ourselves a tag title shot.
Scooped him. They scooped him. Too much talking, not enough action. Speaking of action now. Tasha Steelz versus Killer Kelly. Well, this was the stipulation match. It was like no DQ.
No DQ.
Because there were all sorts of weapons and stuff. There was like chairs and a chain. Yeah. Savannah Evans was a weapon. She was just in the match. like fucking I'm Killer Kelly. So anyways, Killer Kelly gets the win here. Reversing. So Tasha hits a super kick, wraps the chain through Kelly's mouth. Kelly reverses
around
that.
Her head. Yeah, like that.
Kelly gets the upper hand, reverses that into a killer clutch using the chain. Tasha has to tap out. That's after Tasha or Killer Kelly took out Savannah Evans with a chair.
Yeah. So then we're backstage, and you got Johnny Swinger talking to a couple of mascots.
Yeah.
About the Call Your Shot gauntlet, and then Johnny Curtis steps in, but he was mic'd so low I could barely understand what he was saying.
He was just sort of reacting to them using his shoot voice, which was weird because I'm just used to him talking like Fandango.
Yeah.
But he was also referencing when he used to be a cop, the fashion police thing.
Gotcha.
And he was saying that they're kind of freaky. They were trying to get him into their sex dungeon.
The dungeon, yeah. But then there's a Violent by Design, two Violent by Design.
One of which was just smiling the entire time.
Yeah, I know. And then security tries to hold him back, and then Callahan comes in and just lays him out with a bat.
Yeah, and he says, "Tell your designer that I want to talk to him. Thumbs up, thumbs down." After that, more talking. Scott D'Amore talks with Josh Alexander backstage, says, "Hey, you know what? There's a long line of people waiting to take you out. I know you're going to beat Bobby Fish tonight because that's how I booked it." He said, "But maybe you should consider heeding what Moose and Macklin are saying about Bully." He says, "I know all about Bully firsthand. Big piece of shit. I injected that piece of shit into this show when I hired him back in 2005. He says, "But here's the thing. Impact is built on opportunities for people like you, but also to give people a second opportunity, or in the case of Bully, like a 13th opportunity." He says, "Whatever Bully does is going to be for his own self-interest. You're going to have to keep your head on a swivel, and that mindset has to begin tonight in the main event, where a completely separate feud gets set up at the end."
Exactly. We got a really good X Division 6-way match.
Yep.
It's Trey Miguel. It was Alex Zane. It was Laredo Kid. It was Taurus. It was...
Did you get Trey Miguel?
Yeah, it was Kenny King.
Kenny King was in it, yeah.
Oh, Yuya.
Oh, yeah.
Yuya was the 6-man. Really good.
Yeah.
Really good match. Trey ends up getting the win here, pinning Alex Zane after hitting. It's kind of like Buddy Matthews' finish, but a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of the same idea.
Yeah, right.
All sorts of crazy stuff happening in this bout. It's really good. Go check it out. Then we're backstage. Frankie Kazarian shows up. Mike Bailey steps up to him, and he says, "Hey, thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
For a great match." And he says, "I know this loss is only going to make me better the next time we share the ring." Trey Miguel steps in and says, "Hey, I just won that match out there while you guys were here. So no matter who the X Division champ is, I'll be waiting." Kazarian says, "Yeah, they used to call me the future. Now you'll just have to wait and see what the future holds."
Oh, yeah, there you go. He always says they used to call me the future. Now he's the present or past. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if he really be called the future. Yeah, he's present.
Well, I don't know. The way he ages, like at 1/3 normal speed, he could still be.
Yeah, I know. He's in his mid late 40s.
I think he's around our age.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit older, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe 47 or something like that.
God, he can't be 47. Nobody looks like that at 47 besides Tom Cruise. Thanks to maybe Kaz is a Scientologist. After that, we had Vexed and Giselle Shaw.
Oh, he's 45.
Wow. Yeah, so he's around our age. Versus the Death Dolls. Vexed and Giselle Shaw get the win here. With, let's see, what is this? Shaw hits Rosemary with a knee to the back of her head for the win.
Yeah. And then Vex gets a tag title rematch.
Yeah.
At some juncture. Yeah. We learned about that later on. Then we get Tommy Dreamer with his Inside Out jacket stepping up to Bully Ray. And Tommy's like, "Yeah, I'm happy to have you back.
Hey, you're skinny. Hey, you're fat." That's how they greet each other.
I know. Well, then what they say their tag team was.
Oh man, I forget. It was pretty
Fat
good.
And the Furious.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah. So he says, "I'm happy you're here doing it the right way." He says, "I just wish the fans knew the Bully that I know that's done so much for me. But when you see gold, you change." Mm-hmm. And Tommy just pleased them. "Don't make me look like a fool." And Bully is offended by that. He's like, "When have I ever made you look like a fool?" And he runs down a bunch of instances where he apparently never made Tommy Dreamer look like a fool. And he says, "I understand the world doesn't trust me, but if there's one person whose trust I should count on, it's you. Don't doubt me." And then Tommy says, "What, you want to go prove them wrong?" And that's when Bully says, "Oh, you want to do a tag match together?" He says, "Fat and the Furious together one last time."
Yep. After that, we had an Honor No More promo. They all just look like they're so checked out on their way out here.
Because Eddie Edwards didn't even bother to show up to work.
Yeah, Ed Edwards is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Vincent was just staring to the camera like, "Oh, man, should I tell them I got an email from Triple H?" Hey, Hey, you want to come in? So anyways, Maria says, I don't know, more was built on adversity,
yeah.
and their message remains the same. When one of us succeeds, we all success. And the tag title symbolize success. And then Taven and D'Amore, Taven says, D'Amore continues to throw obstacles in our way. Now Rhino and Heath get title shots. Why?
Why?
And then Bennett asks, has anybody seen Eddie? If Eddie's not here, it's for a good reason. Next time we do right by Eddie and defend the tag. I think PCO says, Eddie!
Yeah, they're really giving Eddie the benefit of the doubt here.
Yeah, and we defend the tag titles. I have not looked at the spoilers to see if Eddie Edwards shows up at any point. But
yeah, I don't know either. Then we got Matt Cardona versus Bhupinder Gujjar. So Bhupinder's looking for that gargoyle spear. Brian Myers comes out to distract him. And so Cardona hits radio silence, and afterwards Brian Myers, he's got that major player shirt on. Yeah. They get in the ring, celebrate together.
Oh, yeah, together. After that, we had a great video package recounting Jordan Grayson, Masha Slamovich.
And they got a rematch at PWG.
That PWG show is fucking loaded. Oh, my God. November 6th, Jonathan Gresham and Garcia for the title. Leo Rush versus Speedball Mike Bailey.
That's going to be insane.
Holy crap. Commander's on the card in I think a triple threat tag team thing or something like that.
Yeah.
Or a six-man, something like that. That fucking card is low. Yeah, that Masha Jordan Grace match is going down there. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, man, when is that? November 6th? Can I make it? Can I do it?
That's the same weekend as Crown Royal.
Oh yeah, and then isn't the next day something too? Oh no, the next day. Oh God, the next day I'm going to Apple Hill. After that, we had a Mickie James interview. She says she gives it up for Jordan Grace. Show some respect there. Says if Grace is still champ, if and when I get to the top of the mountain on my last rodeo, I can't wait for that match. She says the Knockouts division is strong. There's a lot of women I want to face on the roster. She puts over Mia Yim, Vexed, but then Vexed and Giselle Shaw step in. Says Mickie should respect winners like us. Chelsea says, I beat you, so you should respect us. And after we beat you, you packed your bags and you went home, and now you come back to Impact. And Mickie says, Mia Yim earned my respect. If I respected everybody I beat, there'd be no one I'd respect more than Deonna Purrazzo. Damn. And she challenges Chelsea to a match. Deonna says, we have a tag title rematch. We're focusing on that. Next match.
And then we got our main event, Bob Fish taking on Josh Alexander. This is fine enough, I guess. He knew Josh Alexander was going to get the win here.
Yeah.
He hits a moonsault, puts the ankle lock on Bob Fish. Bob Fish boots out of it, locks on a triangle. Josh Alexander powers him up, power bombs him into his own knee. And then follows with a C4 spike to get the win. Afterwards, Frankie Kazarian comes to the ring and tells Josh, I didn't finish what he said. Option C.
He's cashed in option C. I'm like, wait a second.
Option C.
Wait. Bully's you got to call your shot thing.
That's the story, is that everybody's coming for Josh Alexander now.
Yeah, but they're all like C-level opponents.
Well, I mean, historically, hasn't that been Impact's main event?
That's always been Impact's thing, yeah. Like everything else is really strong, and then they got their main men's title scene, which is just kind of like, but they keep it interesting enough.
Yeah.
All right, man. You ready to die? You ready to call into this? This call here. It's time for SmackDown.
We used to do We Book Raw and have to talk to Vince on a regular basis. That was rough. I didn't enjoy doing that.
Yeah, right. That sucked.
And I thought we were done with that, but now we got to call.
Oh,
Hunter.
This is a breath of fresh air. So I'm going to step out.
I don't know,
can
man.
you take
He's so
this?
demanding.
Look, I would do this, but can you take this video call with Triple H?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
He's so mean to the enforcer.
I'm going to dial
gives me
in.
crap.
Well, that's his business. That's him and enforcer.
Well, it affects me.
Hold on.
He gives me crap.
Hold on. He's zooming in. I got to go. He's zooming in. Here he is.
All right, fine.
Hello. Is this thing on? Hello, is this Steve?
Hello. No, this is Larson. Hi, gang.
I can never tell the difference between the two.
I'm the one with the beard, okay?
All I know is that you're not trash like your friend the enforcer. That's all I know.
Well, he's not trash.
At least you got that going for you, not trash. All right, you ready for the SmackDown preview? I've worked on this for 3 months now. I was working on this before I leaked out Vince's NDAs. Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
So. Yeah.
How old are you when DX was formed, Larson?
Well, that was 90s. I was about 20.
Oh, yeah, because okay. Yeah, 20-year-old piece of trash, weren't you? Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Were you in the audience showing off your boobs too, like that one lady in the video they always show?
No, I don't think I ever saw the original iteration of DX Live. No.
Oh, that's because you're trash. All right, let's kick this thing off. The Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, journeys to Smackdown this Friday. He demanded a bus in his Do not interrupt me. He demanded a bus in his contract, Larson. What do you think about that?
Smart negotiations on his part.
Absolutely. Cost us a fortune, but we're $1 billion company, not like that pissant AEW. Next, LA Knight. Yeah, I love that guy. Big dummy. That's what he says. He's not a big dummy, smart guy, not like Enforcer. LA Knight's going to take on Mansoor. Do you like Maximum Male Models?
They're pretty entertaining.
They're pretty funny, aren't they? Going to bury them. LA Knight's going to bury every single one of them. I like him. He was so over in NXT, and then
he was. He was even getting a push. He got himself over. My God,
you interrupt me worse than the Enforcer do. All right, listen up. Kofi Kingston, former world champion,
battle Sami Zayn. Yeah.
My God, I have never been interrupted so many times in my life. Do not interrupt. And then finally, I love these guys. Sheamus. You know, I once pitched Sheamus as the new face of the company to Dad.
Yeah.
Now, of course, everybody sees it. But back then, everybody thought he was trash and I was an idiot. Vince laughed me out of the room. I was like, nah, CM Punk, garbage. And look at who's been proven right. Triple H, King of Kings.
I mean, I gotta admit, game back then, I was one of them laughing, and time has been kind to your assessment, I suppose.
Not a surprise. Sheamus, top of the world. CM Punk, where's this guy? Threatening legal action with Tony Khan. Garbage. Am I allowed to say that? I don't think I'm allowed to say that.
No, you probably should say that.
Allegedly. There, it makes it all good. Sheamus, Ricochet, and Karrion Kross, and Solo Sikoa. They're all going to battle in a fatal four-way match for an Intercontinental title opportunity. I call it a shot. This should be called title shot. We don't do opportunities anymore.
Triple H.
Yes. You got a question?
Yeah.
Yes, Steve, what's up?
Who's your odds-on favorite to win this bout, if I can ask?
Oh, man, this is a shoot right here. You know, anybody can win it. There's fantastic superstars. It's all about the characters and stories.
You didn't give me a name, though.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Sheamus, Ricochet, Karrion Kross, Solo Sikoa, they're all going at it.
One name, please.
This fatal four-way, any of them can win. You name one.
Give me a name.
You name
give me
one.
A name.
You name one.
Name one? Okay, Karrion Kross.
Right, great answer. Him, Solo Sikoa, Ricochet, Sheamus, they've all got a great shot.
You know, Triple H, I find it funny that you can't give me just one name you think has the best shot at winning this match.
I find it funny that right now you're using my own catchphrases. You know, you got a lot of balls on you step into the game. Are you trying to play the game right now?
Maybe I'm trying to take the
Madison Square Garden, the curtain call. Four close friends. Four close friends.
Cerebral assassin.
Showing appreciation for each other. I gotta go. I can't deal with this anymore. God, you interrupt. Maybe the next time the fat guy can be on here, Steve or Larson, whoever it is.
All right.
Maybe he could be on here next time because
sure. Thanks, terrorizing.
Infuriating. Good Lord. Oh, I'm gonna call up those guys over at Post Wrestling now. What's their number? Dude, how'd it go?
About as good as you expect.
Oh, okay, right on. It's great having it. He's the outreach these days that Triple H is doing.
I mean, that's good that we can get Triple H on the show.
Did he bring up the curtain call?
Yeah, he did.
I figured he'd bring up the curtain call.
Completely out of context, whatever we were talking about, too.
It's on his mind a lot these days, you know? I think he's just processing now he's in charge. He's looking at all the things Vince put him through.
You know, I really wish that, like his beef with the Enforcer, that's their beef. It bums me out, but it's whatever. I can't get in. But he's starting to take shit out on me. I ask a question, he yells at me.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a shame. Maybe I'll stay. Maybe I'll step in at some point.
Like I don't feel like he respects me at all.
Oh, well, it's earned, man. This is a new thing. It's earned. You know, you got to earn the game's respect.
But how am I going to earn his respect if I just sit here quietly?
Did you interrupt him?
I mean, I asked him a question.
You interrupted him, didn't you? You interrupted him.
He didn't let me. This is our show. He didn't let me read one of the things. So I just said, "Oh, Sami Zayn," and he got upset about it.
Sami Zayn.
Yeah, Kofi Kingston
look
battles
at that.
Sami Zayn.
I
was like, "Oh, Sami Zayn," and then he gets on me about it. It's my show. It's our show.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man.
So I get a word in. See, I feel like if I sit here just quietly and let him just kind of like run all over me, how am I going to earn his respect? I got to stand up.
He's not going to like a pushover. But then
No,
he
exactly.
also
So I
doesn't like
stand up for
people
myself and I
interrupting.
get yelled at more.
I don't know what to tell him. I try to give you some advice, but I don't know. I don't know the guy. I know he likes salmon. I don't know that much.
Peace offering.
Salmon. Send him like some does it not Outback? What is this?
Omaha Steaks.
Omaha Steaks. They have salmon offerings.
I don't believe there's salmon
Is
in
there
Omaha.
a seafood version of Omaha Steaks?
Probably.
Yeah. All right. We can give that a shot. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. I mean, I think it's a relationship that you are cultivating, and I'm anxious or interested to see you build upon it. You never know. Maybe you'll become his number one guy. So that's going to do it for us. Thanks,
looking
everybody.
good so far.
Well, baby steps, my friend. Baby steps.
That's true. Baby steps.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.